Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 11 of What If Naruto Awakened the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was direct descendant of the sage over on Anime King. Link will be at the top of the description for you guys to enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 3, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying to talk about all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Jiraiya was shocked at the utter destruction that he arrived at Kiri. The situation was halt as Mate Rumi came there, so that they didn't have to fight. Jiraiya told him that he was looking for someone. Mei was surprised as it was the same person that caused all this destruction. Jiraiya couldn't believe it, that Naruto would literally do something like this, cause so much death, and that he had the power to do it. As Mei told him about the Uzumaki, so Jiraiya headed off. Naruto went by as he talked to Kaido, Melissa, and Kaya. They were surprised that he got the Uzumakis up and running so fast, as they didn't know that he would do it so fast. As Naruto told them to pack their things, so without they packed their things in scroll and they headed off. Naruto had a seal on him as he could talk to Rengoku. His job with the Akatsuki wasn't done yet, and also his job when it comes to the rest of the Uzumakis was not done yet. And Naruto intended on finding all of them. So, at the moment, Rengoku was currently looking over everything, as Naruto was supplying Rengoku with everything, and also giving him the orders as well. As Naruto would make Uzu as strong as possible, as it once was. Things need to be built, like the hospital, the shinobi program, everything need to be resetted. The village has been brought back to its feet, but many homes are still empty because of many members not being there. And Naruto intended to find the ones that were lost out there. As Naruto told Konan to lead them inside, Jiraiya was shocked as he stepped out of the stone shadow, as he spoke to Naruto, seeing him after so long. As he couldn't believe it either, that was Konan. He thought that the three kids that he trained, but then died. The eyes that Naruto had was a strange version of the Rinnegan, and he seemed to know that. As he told Naruto that he would drag him back to Konoha if he need be, as Naruto asked him, isn't he banished? Naruto ended up tricking the man and finding out who his father was, as Jiraiya was surprised. The way Naruto just complied. He should have seen that something was wrong, but he still think that this was the same naive Naruto. Konan made her way back as she informed Nagato about it, as Nagato told her to go there and make sure nothing, well, disastrous take place and ruin their plans. As Nagato was going after his 6 tails, that Naruto passed over one of the many islands, but seeing that he was too busy with his Uzumaki work at the moment, he never bothered to intrigue or see what is going on. Sasuke had ended up killing Orochimaru in his weakened state, as he was just finishing up a battle with Guren. Yes, once this was all over, once he achieved his goal, he told her that he would leave her and Yukimura alone. And seeing that he defeated her, she decided that she would join him for now. But once this is over, she never wanted to see his face again, and he told her yes. Jiraiya and Naruto was making their way towards Konoha. At Konoha, they have lost a shinobi, Asuma Sarutobi. At the moment though, Team Asuma, along with Guy and Kakashi and Yamato, had made their way to eradicate the Akatsuki members that killed Asuma, as Hidan and Kakazu found themselves caught up in a trap passing through Fire Country, making their way towards Taki as they were battling. Jiraiya then saw Naruto stop before they reached the village. He was a distance off, as Naruto told Jiraiya that he needed to show them that their best can be defeated, as Jiraiya quickly realized the situation that Naruto intended on fighting him right here and now, as he hoped Naruto was kidding. But given that Naruto took a fighting stance, he was sure that he was not. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Tsunade didn't know why, but ever since waking up this morning, she had a bad feeling. Like something bad was going to happen today. She usually always believed in her superstitions, seeing that they always turned out to be true. And now she had a bad feeling in her gut, like something really terrible was going to happen. But she kept herself calm, trying to make sure that if anything, she would be able to handle it. At the moment, the sun was shining brightly over Konoha. As we found, one Hinata Hyuga training in one of the outposts. At the Hyuga compound, Hinata, quick movements, moving like a blur to most eyes, as she smacked against the posts, destroying them within seconds. She released a final pulse, hitting the center one as it exploded into pieces. She has been developing and working on a lot of ways to improve the taijutsu style of fighting. It seems that Naruto getting banished from the village has done a lot for her in improvement wise, even though it did bad things to her heart. As she leaned back, she felt a strange feeling like something was going to happen today. She didn't know why either. Suddenly, the sky above her started to crack with lightning. She was confused because a second ago the sun was bright and shining, and that was strange. This wasn't any normal weather to switch so quickly. This was a strange phenomenon. She turned her head as she saw the lightning crackling. It seemed to be out towards the Fire Nation border. As she wondered what is going on. Meanwhile, the office, Tsunade was standing in her chair. This weather cannot be natural. As the rain started to pour down, people on the streets were caught off guard completely, some of them getting soaked because this was strange. A moment ago, the sun was high in the sky and bright, and now rain was pouring hard. Lightning clashed ominously. Thunder rumbled. The entire place was crying. It seems more ferocious than ever before. Meanwhile, Kakashi ducked as a massive fire went over his head. He flipped and landed on his feet. His Jonin vest had been burned. He was left in his black undershirt. A rush of power to his side as guys shot forward, wasting no time. A streaking lightning rushed towards Guy, who spinned in mid-air, twisting his body at strange angles. Twisting past lightning, he had the glow of the gates around him. Guy was completely serious as he shot towards the monster. He pivoted on his foot, dodging the fire blasts. In the next second, he was gone in a burst of speed. Kakazu narrowed his eyes dangerously as a fist smashed right into the fire mass, obliterating it. He cursed as he combined water and electricity, sent out a massive flow of water, electrified water, that washed towards Guy. The wave was large and he came rushing down towards Guy. "Kamui," said Kakashi. A vortex opened up right in front of Guy as he started to saturate the water and sap it away. Much to Kakazu's grunt of annoyance, Choji then came barreling down the ball, but he was smashed into by Kakazu's fist that hardened the stone, as he grabbed Choji by the throat and threw him away to the side. The moment his hardened technique released from him, he had to dodge several kunais from Ino who landed. Damn it, she said as she missed. As Kakazu looked around, as he wondered if Hidan was already buried under several rubble. This fight was getting harder and harder, as he didn't know if he could outlast them. For once, in so many years of living, he was once again looked down upon. He faced off against the first Hokage, and yet these pests are getting his way. As he cursed himself, there was only one man to make him literally go down to the ground, and that was the leader of the Akatsuki. And he was giving it all, and the man still bested him. But here are these pests trying to kill him, and he will not go down easy. As he called back his remaining mass, as they fluttered into his body. As he started to transform, his joints started to open up with black threads being oozed out of them, as Kakashi and Guy stood there. The both of them nodded toward each other, ready for anything that might come. Meanwhile, Hidan was currently wrapped up, as wood bindings were tying him up everywhere. But that wasn't the only thing. Paper explosive covered the wood bindings, trapping him, as he was cursing at Shikamaru and Yamato. But the both of them were ignoring him, as Shikamaru had a lighter in his hand. This was the man that killed his sensei. He was going to make sure he buried him as he threw it. As the explosives went off, boom, detonating everything around. Meanwhile, Jiraiya looked up in the sky. Naruto simply slammed his hands together, and Jiraiya felt the fluctuation of chakra, and then rain started to fall. Seems you pick up a few tricks along your way. I wonder though, who taught you these? And was it Nagato that helped you with your Rinnegan? The time for talking is done, said Naruto, as he slowly unclipped his Akatsuki robe. Konan will be pissed if I destroy this once again. As he walked over to a tree gently, Jiraiya not doing anything to stop him as he placed on a tree, before moving forward back into the center. Look, Naruto, you can stop this now, and we don't have to go any further, and I can take you back to Konoha. But if you do this, I will have to subdue you, and that means knocking you until you're unconscious to drag you back to the village. There, you'll have to be placed in cells because of what you did. Do you really want that outcome? Do you really want to be seen as a prisoner and not as a friend of the leaf? I'm afraid those times are long over, Jiraiya said. Naruto. What? No more pervisate, Jiraiya said, as he realized there was no convincing Naruto at this moment. He has tried so much time. The only thing to do right now is to knock him out and bring him back to Konoha. But Jiraiya was really underestimating Naruto. The 9 tails behind him was a sign of that, as Jiraiya watched all of them sparkle with electricity before Naruto slammed them into the earth. A spark exploded in a wide range, forcing Jiraiya to jump back. The moment his feet left the ground though, Jiraiya's eyes widened as he brought up his fist. Naruto's feet connected off of it, giving a mini ripple. As Naruto twists one of his tails, lashed on Jiraiya's hand, swinging him. But Jiraiya had the other hand as he lashed onto the tail and pulled Naruto with him. But 7 other tails impacted into his chest. He smashed in the ground with a force, denting it as he quickly flipped to his feet though. That wasn't enough to bring the legendary Toad Sage down. He flipped through hand sign, Needle Jaizo, his hair extended and fire off needles and months towards Naruto. Naruto stood there unmoving as all of them platter against some invisible force before they were blown back. As Naruto shot forward against his feet, creating the run as he moved. He was moving with such speed, he was releasing excess chakra. As he dashed towards Jiraiya, Jiraiya held out his fist as Naruto disconnected with it. Jiraiya's hand trembled because of the force as he stepped back, trying to hold off Naruto before 2 tails came smashing down on him. Twisting his body, he had enough speed to jump out of the way, but his feet was grabbed as he was smashed repeatedly over and over into the ground by Naruto's tails before Naruto threw him. He smashed through several trees before coming to a stop. Wasting no time, Jiraiya ran through hand sign, Earth style, Swamp of the Underworld. The ground under Naruto's feet twisted as he was pulled right down into the swamp, stuck halfway. Jiraiya picked himself up in a small groan. To think the day when you could do something like this to me. I must say I'm surprised, Jiraiya said. You have gotten stronger, but still, it won't be enough. Naruto simply smiled, his tails not showing as he were down in the swamp. Still, you underestimate me, Jiraiya. Can't you understand that you have no hope of winning here? As Naruto looked at Jiraiya keenly. Kid, I'm a Sannin, a legendary Sannin, and you are just a little brat that is throwing a tantrum. And I'm gonna get that tantrum of yours sorted out really quickly and snap you back in the right sense of mind. I know you're trying to bring the Uzumakis back together. From what I can see so far, we can help you. Don't you think Tsunade was going to do everything in her will to make sure that the Uzumakis are not destroyed this time? Did you know how they were destroyed the first time, Naruto asked? Well, the other villages targeted them, said Jiraiya. Something snapped in Jiraiya's mind. No, you wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Jiraiya Naruto asked. I saw what you did to Kiri. You showed them no remorse. Utter destruction. Are you planning on attacking Kumo and the stone as well? Well, they did make my people suffer. Why shouldn't I make theirs? Naruto, this will cause a world war. That is something, not even with your new powers, that you can handle. As Jiraiya narrowed his eyes, the Uzumakis and Konoha were aid. Do you plan on going after Konoha as well, for not aiding the Uzumakis? There's only one person in Konoha I want to kill, said Naruto. What? And who is that? Do you plan on going after Tsunade? Jiraiya asks. Trying to test Naruto's reactions, but he got nothing. No, I'll tell you that much. Then who? Or are you trying to go after the elders that banished you? As Naruto showed nothing on his face. You're still underestimating me, Jiraiya. But, as you said, my actions might cause a world war. Wait, is this your doing or the Akatsuki? Why would the Akatsuki be involved in the Uzumaki? Said Naruto. So, you're doing this on your own? Then what is the Akatsuki planning with the tailed beasts? Naruto didn't say a single word. As he looked up in the sky, you know, much earlier I would have been too naive to even fight back against you, if things hadn't changed me in certain ways. But this discussion of ours is over. After all, I need to catch up with Bachan. So what? You gonna kill me, Jiraiya asks. Even if you could. Is that what you're planning to do to get to the village? No. As I told you, they need to understand. Suddenly, the swamp was blown away, showing that Naruto would get out of it any time, as he rose to his feet, levitating off the ground. As he landed, Jiraiya wasted no time as he shot forward. Rasengan, he said, as he saw that most of his efforts weren't really working on Naruto. And this wasn't going to work either, well, as he thought. He didn't even get 5 inches close to Naruto before he was sent sailing. Rasengan dissipated as he was slammed in several trees. He picked himself up quickly as a feet came dropping down towards his skull. Raising his hand, he blocked it, the ground underneath him breaking because of the force. Naruto's tail smashed into his stomach. Jiraiya staggered back as he coughed up blood, confused how they pain so much. His eyes looked at them to notice they took on a stone-like feature. As he realized something though, the kid could use ninjutsu from his... Jiraiya cried out in pain as he was electrocuted by one of the tails. But still, he was no signing for nothing, as he grabbed the tail and swung Naruto, throwing Naruto to the side. He then went through hand sign, fire style. Ignite, he said as he blew out a stream of massive flames. As Naruto leaped up in the air, something he expected, Jiraiya shot forward and wrapped around Naruto, pulling Naruto towards him as he clenched his fist, infusing chakra in it to knock Naruto out with a single punch. Jiraiya launched his fist forward, but Naruto caught it. No force was delivered. All of the chakra was drained away. Jiraiya was confused, until Naruto lifted him off his feet with that one fist and smashed him face first in the earth. Jiraiya looked up as a boot smashed into his face, as he was sent sailing and crashed through several trees once again. Blood once again leaked from his mouth as he picked himself up slowly. Naruto appeared in front of him and smashed a fist into his nose. Jiraiya's nose cracked upon impact. As Naruto had to show them, he had to make them understand. Jiraiya's both arms were grabbed by Naruto's tails as he was raised off his feet and smashed in the ground repeatedly. Picking up Jiraiya, Naruto placed his hand at Jiraiya's stomach. Almighty push, he said. A force so powerful smashed into his stomach. Jiraiya coughed up blood in mid-air. As he was sent sailing, he was sure few of his ribs were broken upon impact. As he was sent rolling, finally, face planted into the earth. Jiraiya couldn't even lift up himself properly as blood was leaking from his mouth. He didn't understand. Oh, how did the kid get so powerful? As Jiraiya quickly got to his knees, his hands and legs shaking to get back up. He needed to enter Sage mode. He never thought that you'd have to resort to use this against Naruto, but he had to. He then went through hand sign, summoning jutsu, he said, as the air was filled with smoke. He used up a lot of chakra, but he needed to, as suddenly, Gamabunta and Gamakin appear with his 2 blades, and Gamabunta with his Tonto. Jiraiya, what is going on? Said Gamabunta, as he looked around. I thought you were taking the kid back to Konoha. Gamakin then looked down. Jiraiya-san, what is going on? It's Naruto. I need you guys to buy me some time. As Jiraiya put his hands together. Wait, you're summoning them? Asked Gamabunta. Is this really that serious? Gamabunta then turned. I'm afraid it is, the voice. So, You've gone to the other side, have you, Naruto boy? Said Yamabunta as he looked at Naruto, trying to find the small image of the kid that rode on top of his head until he passed out, but he could not. Isn't this the summon that we tried to find? Asked Gamaken. Yes, said Yamabunta. Seems like he has turned to the opposite side. Don't kill him, Jiraiya said. Just knock him out. But if he put you in this condition so early, said Gamaken, can we? Gamaken felt something as he turned, as Naruto was standing right on top of his shoulder. Gamaken tried to do something, but Naruto's tails extended longer than before and wrapped around Gamaken's head before lifting him off the ground. The giant toad was sent smashing, face first, hard. Back in the village, Tsunade was going through some paperwork until the uncle wearing a boar mask flashed right in front of her. Tsunade-sama. Jiraiya-sama toads are in the forest. They seem to be fighting. What? Said Tsunade confused as she got to her feet. A patrol spotted them nearby. One of them were sent back to inform you immediately. The rest go to see if they can offer Jiraiya-sama any assistance. Tsunade wondered what the hell was going on, and who was Jiraiya fighting. Meanwhile, the 4 Anvus landed as they all surrounded Jiraiya. Jiraiya-sama, we're here to assist you. Jiraiya released a sigh of relief. At least they could buy him some time. Who is the assailant? The one in the front asked. It's Naruto, said Jiraiya. Wait, that boy that went missing. Yes, we need to bring him back to Konoha, alive. I need you guys to buy me some time. But surely, we can take him. Back by force, a purple-haired Anvu said. No, don't be reckless or rash. He might be young, but he's powerful. As the 4th looked at him to see the full extent of Jiraiya, as he was badly beaten. Did he do this? The purple-haired Anvu asked once again. Jiraiya nodded, as he started to focus, his hands clamped together. Meanwhile, both Yamabunta and Gamaken were sent sailing over their heads. Both of them crashing badly in a large, far part of the forest. Meanwhile, Shikamaru and Tenzo turned their head. What the hell? As a large toad stopped right in front of them. The thing seemed to have been sailing for some while, while they were still in the Fire Nation. As Shikamaru looked up, this is one of Jiraiya-sama's toads. But what is going on? Tenzo quickly made a wooden pillar as he got to the toad's size. Hello there, he said. I'm a fellow ninja of Konoha. May I ask what is going on? Jiraiya-san is fighting off against a shinobi. I guess he's stronger than I thought. Who is it? Shikamaru shouted as the toad seemed to hear him. A kid named Naruto. Shikamaru's eyes widened at that. No, it couldn't be. Could it? Meanwhile, the 4 Anvus charged towards Naruto, quickly ready to incapacitate him, as he had been given the order by Jiraiya. But, to their utter shock and surprise, they didn't get close, as Jiraiya was calling out to them to try and tell them but they had already moved. Thinking that it would be easy to stop the boy, when a force smashed into them. It seems that Naruto was no longer playing. Their arms and legs bent unnaturally. The force was quite more powerful this time, as all of them were sent in different directions, crushing in the forest violently. Jiraiya got to his feet, blood still leaking from his mouth. He was sure that a couple of his ribs were broken, as his hands were still locked together. Naruto, you're taking things too far, he said. You're only making this worse on yourself. You think I'm gonna allow you to do whatever you're planning, said Naruto. Even if you did, it wouldn't work, as Naruto got Jiraiya's hands. But it doesn't matter. Come here. Universal pull. Jiraiya was yanked off his feet. He quickly spun his hair as Senmons were sent launching towards Naruto, but Naruto lowered his hand as all of them hit the ground. Jiraiya lashed out with a kick towards Naruto's skull to try and knock him unconscious, but Naruto grabbed his leg, one of his tails, as another tail wrapped around Jiraiya midsection before the tip started to electrify and slam into Jiraiya's forehead. Jiraiya cried out in pain and his hands had to separate as he grabbed onto the tail trying to pull it away, but the surge of electricity pulsed deadly and threw him. Jiraiya dropped, twitching and itching. As he slowly pulled himself up to his feet, his hair was standing on edge. He got to his feet fully. I will stop you, Naruto, he said. have to stop you from going on this path. As he formed a Rasengan, this one larger than before, as he launched himself towards Naruto. Naruto turned towards the incoming attack. Out of respect and my exile from the village and from your teaching, I've stopped using what you taught me, said Naruto. To this day, I haven't used the Rasengan since I've been exiled. Naruto was talking as Jiraiya was coming towards him. I see now that if I don't show them, they will continue to underestimate me and not take my words to heart. So that is why I won't hold back anymore. Naruto raised his hand. Jiraiya's eyes widened as he had to stop as he felt the fluctuation of power. He wondered if he could use Rasengan to drill right through it, but it was too late. The ground below Naruto tore up. It didn't even make a sound, just rip, and everything went white. Jiraiya's Rasengan detonated because of the clashing force, and everything was white. A huge section of the forest was gone. By the time everything cleared away, destruction and chaos only reigned. As Naruto stood there, Jiraiya had underestimated him, and it cost him. Well, Naruto did not give him any time to transform into Sage mode. But Naruto did not have time for that. He came here to do one thing, and that is what he was going to do. Jiraiya's body was embedded into a stone. He was unconscious, the attack completely knocking him out. His arm was bent unnaturally, and his leg was twisted. 3 kunais were sent sailing towards Naruto, as one of his tails easily batted them away. Naruto turned his head, but the moment he did, a flash bomb went off. As he winced and closed his eyes, the 3 remaining envoys, as one of them had been knocked unconscious because of the blow, rushed towards Naruto, all of them weapon drawn. They had the perfect opportunity now. They all reached in close, but the tails snapped and caught them. One of them backed away as the other 2 was caught. Naruto simply tossed the other 2 into the one, knocking him over. As he raised his hand towards the section, his eyes still closed. The earth around them started to crumble until it came over them as some sort of castle before he dropped his hand. The earth then crashed down on their body, forcing them in place. As Naruto started to walk, he rubbed his eyes before fully opening them. As he looked around the scene, his eyes stopped pulsing. It seems like his Rinnegan had given him far more control over the elements than Nagato to manipulate nature to a deadlier degree. As Naruto made his way over to the unconscious Jiraiya, the 2 toads were sent back to their summoning world. They were too beaten to come back after that. As Naruto picked up Jiraiya one of his tails and made his way. Meanwhile, as Kakazu was lying on the ground, dead, as Chidori had ripped right through his chest. Ino and Choji was unconscious, but not dead, but Kakazu was. Guy had a big smile on his face. Yes, our youth shined more brightly and defeated this foul enemy that took Osama away. And our youth will not stop until it has eliminated all of the Akatsuki foe. Kakashi looked over. Did you say something? Guy eye twitched before. Kakashi, Guy. The both of them turned to see Yamato. What's wrong, Tenzo? We have to get back to the village immediately. What is it? Guy said. It's Naruto. Meanwhile, in the village, Tsunade could not just up and leave like that. She had her people that she could send out to investigate what was going on. And she was waiting for a word soon, as she sent more envoys to investigate. Seeing that a group was out there, they already made their way. Even here in Konoha, they felt like tremors. That last attack that Naruto did really shook the place. As the village was wondering what was going on, the rain was still pouring down. The people were starting to feel afraid, because it felt like something ominous was coming. Meanwhile at the gate, Katetsu and Aizumo saw a few envoys shot past a few minutes ago. As they were waiting to wonder what was going on, they wonder if someone was coming towards Konoha to attack. Suddenly a body was thrown right through the village gate and crashed at the ground. Luckily the person was not dead, just unconscious. It was the envoy, not moving the slightest. Katetsu and Aizumo quickly got out of the boot, both of them holding on to a kunai. When they stopped, as they saw, no, It can't be, said Katetsu. He might have changed by growing up and his eyes, but they all remember that boy from so long ago that impressed everyone in the Chunin exams by defeating the prodigy Neji and by facing off against the one killed Shikaku. Is that Naruto? Said Katetsu. As Naruto looked at them, the both of them froze when he saw Jiraiya and looked at Anvu. No, it can't be. Naruto wasn't wearing his Akatsuki robe as he was over his shoulder. Only one tail was loose, and he was holding on to Jiraiya and bringing him with him. What have you done, said Katetsu. I will advise you to not get in my way, said Naruto. As you can see, many have tried, but they've all failed. So it would be best for you to just stay where you are. But, being members of the Hidden Leaf Village, they couldn't do that. Katetsu nodded towards Izumo. We don't know what you're doing, Naruto, but we will stop you no matter what. We can't allow you to do whatever this is. Katetsu rushed forward as Izumo backed him up. Naruto sighed as he just kept on walking. The both of them not even coming close, as their bodies were thrown to the side, helplessly, crushing into the ground. As Naruto kept on walking. Stepping into the Leaf Village, Naruto taking a deep breath, as he looked towards the monument, seeing those faces looking down at him. Especially one face in particular, the fort. It seems like the faces looking at him with disappointment, but Naruto did not really care at the moment. He came here for something, and he also came to talk. It was not time to get his revenge on that man. Walking through the forest, Naruto's serpents had pushed their head on the ground, as Naruto figured the man must have a large underground basement or something to keep his soldiers. Naruto's serpents scanned, find, and feel chakra signature just by being near the area, and they felt a large amount of it down underneath the ground. That means there was a base under there. Danzo had no idea that he knew. And when it's time, Naruto was going to make him pay last. The things that he planned to make that man suffer with, that he was conjuring up in his head. If most would read his mind right now, they would probably pass out or think that he was crazy because of what he was thinking. He calmed himself as he made his way. He's not angry at Tsunade. He just wants, well, his request for Phil at the moment. As he made his way into Konoha. Meanwhile, underground, Danzo was standing. He was not sitting for once. He was on alert. He just got the report that Naruto has been spotted coming back to the village. Danzo had lost track of the boy ever since the incident. And to hear that the boy has obtained some new power now, it made Danzo intrigued. Also, more better to capture him. Danzo was sure that Naruto knew that it wasn't him that was behind the attack. He had no idea, so he had that was his advantage. But whatever happened to him out there, it came as a big plus because when Konoha finally ring in their Jinchuriki and control him, they will also have him with his assets' new power. Danzo didn't know what it is, but it should be rather intriguing. As he chuckled to himself, everything was playing towards his plan and no one knew that. Soon enough he will have the Jinchuriki under his control, as it will just be a matter of watching him now, keeping someone on his tail to watch and scour the area to make sure that he knows where he lives, he knows where he eats, he knows who's his friends. Outside, the road agent was keeping his distance, moving from rooftops in shadows, watching Naruto as the rain was pouring. People who were making their way started to cower in fear, as they didn't understand. Most of them had cleared their mind of a Jinchuriki thinking that he was dead, after hearing about his exile, but now he was walking in the middle of a street with... Is that Jiraiya-sama? One of them muttered. Naruto didn't turn his head or his eye towards him, he just kept on walking. The people were fearing him, he could feel their fear and their anxiety building. They couldn't understand how was this boy walking into the village with one of their proud ninjas like that, dragging him like he was a rag doll or something. Was that a tail? Wait, is that the Kyuubi's tail? Most of them wondered if the beast had taken over the boy, and if he came back here to destroy them all, as they started to sweat running as they saw him, waiting for the ninjas to come and stop him. The next moment though, the rooftops were lined with ninjas and Anvus. In front of the crowd was Tsunade. As she looked down, emotions swept across her heart. Pain, anxiety, Fear. That was something she never thought that she would feel seeing Naruto. But it was fear, anger, rage. As she saw Jiraiya unconscious and beaten, like he was beaten badly, and surprise to know if Naruto was the one that actually do this. She hasn't heard about Kira yet, as the news hadn't spread so while, but many people are knowing about it, and information. Jiraiya hasn't told her about that yet. So Tsunade looked down. Naruto, she said. It's been a long time, Tsunade, said Naruto. Tsunade felt her heart quiver when she didn't hear him say Bachan. So he did not come here to talk as a friendly terms. Well, she already knew that, seeing that he was holding on to Jiraiya like that. Can I ask, what the hell are you doing, she said. Have you lost your goddamn mind? As Naruto looked at her. No. I'm afraid it hasn't been so clear in a very, very long time, he said. What have you done? Naruto tossed Jiraiya to the ground. This is just an example, said Naruto. At the moment, Jiraiya is the strongest in your village. That should make you understand where I come in terms of power. Don't want to do anything rash and stupid before we have our little talk. Talk? You think you're just gonna stand there and talk after what you did? Yeah, we can talk. After I smack some sense into you. I'm afraid I don't have time for that, said Naruto. Well, you assaulted a shinobi of a leaf. You think I'm just gonna let you walk out like that? Yes. Once I finish saying what I'm saying and make my demands. Tsunade clenched your fist. Demands? You did this and expect me to give you anything? I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, I don't expect you to give me anything. This belongs to me. All the 3 ninjas around got ready, as Tsunade didn't give her order yet, so none of them moved, as they just watched him. What are you doing? You know that this will just cause havoc and chaos, right? On you. It seems you've gotten a little stronger, but do you really think you can fight the entire Hina village? There you people go again, underestimating me. A thought popped into his head. No, he said to himself. You don't need to experience that yet. Now, can we go somewhere privately and talk? As he looked at her. No, we're staying right here. Because in a few moments, I'm gonna drag you back to Envoy HQ. Tsunade jumped off the rooftop. As she started to walk, stopping her envoys or ninjas from moving. I don't know what has gotten that thick skull of yours, but I intend to beat it out. As she stood a few feet away from him. Meanwhile, Hinata was making her way as she heard that something was going on in the village. Still, having, well, lost all interest in loving anyone or anything like that because of losing Naruto, she was still a Leaf Shinobi, and she was going to be clan head very soon. She still need to be a part of Leaf activities. As someone landed beside her, Hinata, as she turned to see it was Sakura. What do you think is going on? I don't know. I'll check. Byakugan. As she started to move once again, Hinata then froze. As her hands started to shake. It's him. Him? What are you? Sakura froze. No, can you really be? Is it Naruto? Has he come back? She asked. Hinata rushed off. Hinata said Sakura, as Sakura chased after her. Back to the field. Tsunade looked at Naruto, just a few inches away from him. She didn't know if she wanted to punch him or hug him. Well, she really wanted to punch him. Stop this. And come with me immediately, she said. I can't just let you walk free after what you done to Jiraiya. Guessing that you're the one that did it. Yes, I am, said Naruto. Why couldn't you have said no, that you found him this way? Well, wouldn't want to lie, said Naruto. So you've changed, huh? Gotten taller. And those eyes of yours. Seems quite special. How did you get them, she asked. I'll tell you that in the future. When I come back. Come back. I already told you that I'm not letting you leave this place. And if I have to take you by force, I will. Tsunade started to send chakra to her fists. I'm only asking you once. Walk, so I don't have to force you. Naruto shook his head. She pulled back her fist and launched it, all of her ninjas getting ready. Tsunade was shocked when he simply grabbed her fist mid-air. Tsunade was confused. He shouldn't be able to do that. He snapped his eyes towards the ninja, sending off a wave of bloodlust. They got giddy as they leaped forward. Tsunade turned to stop them, but it was already too late. They descended. Naruto came forward and pushed her out of the way. The ninjas were too jumpy as they all descended upon him. Naruto stepped forward before his eyes pulsed. It all happened so fast, it confused her. When everyone dropped to their knees, it felt like a weight had settled over the entire area. All of them forcing down, even Tsunade as she tried to stand, forcing her chakra to get to her feet, but she could not. Hinata and Sakura had to stop. As Hinata held out her hand, she wanted to see Naruto, but she knew if she go any further, she would not be able to move. The density in the area has increased, she said. What? Said Sakura. Why is he doing this? Hinata said. Is it Naruto? Is he attacking? Hinata nodded, but she didn't know what else to say. She didn't know why he was doing this. She had to go and stop him as she moved forward, but Sakura grabbed her. Stop, Hinata. You just said yourself. We can't. Move until it's over. As Hinata stood there shaking, she can't lose him again. As she wondered what is going on. Why is he attacking now? She scanned over him. He has changed, his eyes especially. As she heard from the report that his eyes had changed, but seeing them now, they were different. Not just in looks, his eyes seemed to be cold and showing off no emotion. And the warmth that she used to feel off of him was gone. His chakra seemed cold, but it was Naruto, it was still him. And she had to talk to him. She failed to stop him that night, she had to stop him now. Back towards the center, Naruto, less than the gravity around Tsunade. Tsunade got to her feet. What are you doing? Precautions to make sure they won't intervene. I came here to talk to you, and you alone. Seeing that you won't, let me go to your office. Let's do it here. I hope Gaara told you about my question. Yeah, he did, said Tsunade. And so you came here to give me the same option. Are you threatened that he'll leave? She asked. She was getting furious as a minute passed, as Naruto has taken things too far now. It's up to you if you want to take that as a threat or not. But I'll be coming back to ask you a simple question in the future. Something that might change the entire ninja way. As Naruto started to walk, his hands behind him, Tsunade did not attack even though her body was itching her, just grabbed him and pounded him into the ground. As she listened for once. The Uzumakis. I'm helping them getting back to their feet. I'm sure you know that my mother was Kushina Uzumaki. Yet you get that information from me. And seeing me every day. Even when we were on that trip, you wouldn't mind to tell me. Even though I told you about my life. Told you all I went through as an orphan and had no one. To find out that my father was Minato. Tsunade blinked. Who told you? Well, it doesn't matter now, said Naruto. I want all financial aid that Minato and Kushina left behind. It doesn't belong to this village, it belongs to me. As their sole heir. Yes, you are their son. Know that you know that. We can come up with a way to try and get you back to the village. I can talk to Naruto looked towards her. I am no longer. And I will never be a part of Konoha ever again. Tsunade felt her heart drop at that, the way he said it, the words, and the cold look in his eye. I'm already banished. I just came here for the financial access. And you really think I'll give it to you, she said, starting to lose her temper once again. You're not a part of this village, you said, so why should I give you anything? Because, as I said, it doesn't belong to you. I'll be coming back for it soon. I hope by that time you have everything ready. Tsunade clenched her fist as he stepped forward. Or, you're really out of your mind. Do you know what you have started here? And yet, you want to just walk out of here and leave. Look at Jiraiya. He taught you, he trained you. What about me? You call me Bachan. Even though I hated the name, you were almost like a grandson to me. And you're telling me standing there you feel absolutely nothing. You're willing to go through everyone to get what? Well, money? Is that what you really want? Don't you care anymore, she asks. This world has changed me in many ways that you will never know, he said. I don't hate you. In fact, I don't blame you for what happened. You're not the cause, but I know who is. Who is, she asks. At the moment, I won't tell you. I don't want you to interfere when the time comes. But as I told Gara, there will come a time when I will ask you a question. And I hope you make the right choice. The others will be against me. Others? She said, confused. When the pervert wakes up, he will tell you what I didn't carry. And you will soon come to understand. When I come back, I hope everything is ready. I told you once before, none of the financial access belong to you or the village. I want it all. And if I don't get it, I'll take it by force. Tsunade looked at him. So, you gonna rob us? She asks. Well, they can say it that way. As he started to walk off, Tsunade shot forward as she intended on just knocking him out right here and now. He wasn't looking back, he wasn't turning, so she can't do it. Naruto turned just in time. As her fist launched towards his face, he made no effort to stop her though. Her hand stopped inches away from his face, shaking. She didn't punch him, as she saw a glimpse of that old smiling Naruto. Seems you haven't changed. I understand now what he means. The world really need to grow up. Even though I stand in the midst of your village, causing chaos, you wouldn't dare strike me. Are you really that stuck up on your emotions? That you can't even... He couldn't get to finish that sentence as he was smacked across the face hard. Tsunade was no crime. You really are just gonna stand there and say this all to me? Me? Do you really no longer feel anything? Do you really no longer consider this place as your home, even after everything? I was going to find a way. I know it will take long, but I was going to find a way to bring you back. Are you really just going to desert us all? Me? Do you know how much everyone has missed you? I know that back in the past, things hasn't always been in your favor. But you can't just leave. You can't start whatever you're starting. I don't want to see you dead, she said, despite all of the foolishness that you have done so far. So please, stop this before it goes too far. Even though I'm the Hokage, I still cannot hold back my people if you've started something that you can't finish, Naruto. It's just you alone. Stop this. I will talk to the others, the other council. We will find some agreement to not make you stay in prison for years. I will try to quell the sentences. Just please, come back. Don't do this, she said. As Tsunade stood there, letting her emotions get the better of her. At that point, Naruto-kun, as Hinata and Sakura landed in the building, Naruto turned towards their direction. Hinata rushed over as she stopped, her entire body shaking. After all these years, I wasn't able to stop you. As she started to stammer, she shook her head. I wasn't able to stop you last time, but I will this time. I won't let you leave, she said. As Sakura stepped forward, you're already back here. Just stay. Please don't leave, she said. Please. You can curse and hate me as much as you want for what I did in the past. Just don't leave, she said to him. As she looked at him with pleading eyes. Naruto looked at the three women before he turned his back and started to walk away. All three of them, especially Hinata, felt her heart shatter at that moment, as he didn't glance at any one of them a single look. Tsunade didn't have the power to fight to go after him. Her entire body shaking out of sadness. She wanted to just break down and cry. She was supposed to be the Hokage, how pathetic. Holding her emotion for so long, everything was coming out on the surface, seeing him once again. Seeing the boy that brought her back, that gave her hope. It pained her to no end. As she stood there, unable to do anything at the moment, Sakura felt weak and pathetic, knowing that she couldn't even defeat him, to bring him back by force. After all their training, Hinata on the other hand snapped out of it as he rushed forward, aiming to strike Naruto at his vital points. Moving so quick, she appeared behind him, showing her years of intense training. Naruto twisted just in time as she lashed out, hitting him right in the shoulder. As he looked at her, "Thank you," he said, "for not telling anyone I'm leaving that night." "You can trust me," she said. "Just, please. She stuttered again and she shook her head. Damn it, she cursed in her mind. "You've waited for so long. Stop stuttering," she cursed. "Just don't leave me. Please, she said. Just come back. I never had the courage to tell you back then. But I love you, she said. Naruto could sense other ninjas forming and coming, making their way towards him. As he looked towards her, it will never work, he said. Our goals are too different. Our worlds are too different, too separated. Maybe in another lifetime. I'm sorry. Thank you again for keeping my secret. But I'm not staying. This village is no longer my home. As he turned and started to walk away, Hinata feel that burn of rage inside of her. That intense training all put to waste for nothing. Was she really gonna let him go? This time she moved to intercept him, her hands lashing out to paralyze his points. But Naruto looked at her. She was thrown back. Hinata didn't know what hit her, but something did. Her eyes wasn't fast enough to react, as she was sent skidded along the ground. Before Naruto took flight. Remember, Tsunade, he said, when I come back, I hope you have everything ready for me, because I will not ask twice. And with that he was gone, flying off as the ninjas appear and the others finally being able to get up. As Naruto has been using his chakra to maintain the gravity the entire time, none of them were able to move, except for the path that Tsunade was walking. That is why Hinata and Sakura had to go so near to her. Sakura collapsed on her knees. Once again she watched him leave. Once again she was too weak to do anything. Hinata broke out in tears. She hadn't cried in public for some time now. It wasn't befitting of a Hyuga to cry like this. Seeing that she could no longer see him with the Byakugan, she ran off. It wasn't wise for her to be seen right here crying. As Tsunade just looked up, things has gotten bad. Very, very bad. As she looked at Jiraiya, she went to her knees. At least she could do something. As she started to perform the healing jutsu on Jiraiya, as he was seriously hurt. Not life-threatening, but badly broken. She could only wonder how much pain the man must be in. Not physically but mentally, because Naruto was the one that did the same. Naruto landed in the Fire Nation as he started to walk, making his way, enjoying the cool breeze. As he could sense ninjas coming fast. Sensing their chakras, they felt familiar. Kakashi was amongst them. He didn't have time to waste as he simply took off once again, flying high above their heads. Naruto looked down as he saw the group racing towards Konoha with unbearable speed, trying to make their way as fast as possible. They weren't resting, weren't getting breaks, they were just moving. Naruto felt something as the air current changed, as he turned to see Konan flying towards him. Seeing that the villager is still standing, you didn't do anything stupid. No, not yet, said Naruto. You got here fast. Seems like you were... Oh, he said. What should that sound, she asked. Well, were you worried about me, he asked. You're my comrade. I was just wondering what you were doing. No, you made me sad, said Naruto. I thought you were actually worried about my well-being. Well, I didn't want you to get hurt, she said. Naruto smiled. No, that's my girl, he said. Konan felt something strange at the way he said that, and the way he phrased it. So what now, she asked. Now we go back home, he said. You mean your home, she said. Well, you know I was going to ask you to move in with me at the Uzumaki compound. I mean, you never actually answer what you wanted to do after we completely changed the world. And I already told you I'll be following Nagato. Yes, but what do you want to do, Naruto asked. Do you want to have a family? Have a boy, a girl, 2 girls, 2 boys. Have a big house. Live by the ocean. What exactly do you want? Konan looked at him, and for once she seemed unsure. I don't know. Naruto smiled despite the answer. Why are you smiling, she asked. Well, it isn't a bad thing, said Naruto. Because you have time. What, she said. You have a lot of time to pick, choose, and think about your life. After all, as long as I'm watching your back, it's not like you're gonna die by any unseen accident. Because I am here watching your back. And you have me protected because you're my guardian angel, right? He said as he gave her a smile. At that, she turned her face, looking towards Konoha. But the reason was, she felt her cheeks getting hot. She was blushing. What's wrong, Naruto asked. It's nothing. Shall we go, she said. We need to get back. Nagato is going after the 6 tails, and the others. Or probably bringing the 4 and 5 tails right now. This will be a long sealing process, she said. Well, seeing that you're with me, why don't we go back to the Uzumaki compound? You don't have to go to the Hinrain. Well, that would be the best course of action, she said. Let's go. She flew off as he flew behind her. She wondered why he was staying so far before he came up with a smile on his face. What's wrong? You know, you have a nice figure, he said. Konan blinked as once again she turned her head. Her cheeks were getting red. As Naruto laughed. What is so funny? Oh, nothing. It is just quite alarming. What did she ask? Oh, how beautiful you are, he said. As he took the lead. Now she following behind him. But guys, if you end this episode right here, for the next part, this is do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the notifications they posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.